Welcome, Half-Bloods, to the Half-Blood Pod. We're your hosts, Scott and William. How you doing today, William?
I am doing fantastic. Great day to be alive.
You look fantastic. You're not in just a simple t-shirt. The button down makes me feel underdressed, but you look great.
It's a fishing shirt.
That's true.
Whataburger fishing shirt.
Mad respect. Should we do a ranking of fast food burgers as one of our podcast segments?
I think
Spoiler.
Don't want to know.
In-N-Out's number one.
Yeah, we'd have to be pretty specific. You'd be like, all right, like we're talking like I'm not interested in like your specific fast food restaurant that's only in Madison, Wisconsin,
Yeah.
like, semi-national minimum, which would be things like In-N-Out, which In-N-Out is definitely a better burger than Whataburger. But
Whataburger is good though, if you order the right thing.
And they got a bunch of other good stuff. Honey butter chicken biscuit, jalapeno cheddar biscuit, which is the best part there. So
Next up,
can't go wrong.
I was trying to think of how to turn Half-Blood Pod into a food thing, but I'm not very good at that, so I'll come back to that.
I got lots of takes.
Yeah, you do.
We speak confidently about any subject.
All right.
Doesn't
We're
matter.
on to Israel. We're on to Israel. We'll go from
I got
there.
thoughts.
I think we made that joke
probably
last
fix it.
podcast. Yeah, good call.
But I can seriously fix it. So but I'll save that take. Don't worry about it. On to the
I appreciate that.
We got other stuff to do. So
Save that for your election campaign.
yeah.
We do have other stuff to do. There are still exciting things happening in the world of Harry Potter, and we're here to cover them all. And today, we're going to cover, as our Witch Weekly, part of the Audible release, which comes out very soon. William, I don't have the date in front of me of when book 1 is being released, but I'm pretty sure it's in November, and November is in 5 days. So it's coming soon.
Yeah.
I apologize. Now
We're like super. It says November 4th for the first one, and then December 16th for Chamber of Secrets.
Oh, they're coming quick. So November 4th, Sorcerer's Stone will be released in Audible, and they released a small clip of the train scene where Hermione walks in trying to find Neville's toad, and it was pretty exciting. I really enjoyed it. I'm very excited to listen to this with my children. I feel like the switching of the voices and a narrator being a different voice is going to keep them very engaged. We have a Tony box, which took over our lives for a bit. They're getting a little old for the Tony, but I feel like this is an easy transition.
You yet graduate them to Yodo.
Yodo, which I don't actually know, but I'm in. And does Yodo play Audible books?
I got a way to get around that. You can like load. You can load it. We've done it. Like you can load the audiobooks onto like basically a blank card.
Deal.
I can help you do that. So,
what'd you think, William? I loved it. I thought it was awesome. What'd you think?
Yeah, number one, I think so. For me personally, like I will never ever replace like the Jim Dale audiobooks in my life because it's like literally ingrained. I listen to it every night when I go to bed. It's just like part of my life. That doesn't mean I don't like this though. Like you said, I think the most exciting part is for kids, right? Because I have 4 kids. I think it's really cool. I like the voices sound great. All that stuff, it sounds really good. The one thing I will say is that like it's just a choice that I would have to get used to is that like the background noise of like bustle and hustle and bustle and trains and this, that, and the other. I don't really love that, but that's not a negative. It's just a way of doing things. You know what I mean? Like that's not bad that they're doing that. There's audiobooks that do that and that's fine. I think it seems like really good production value and way fun. So I'm excited to listen to it, especially with my kids. I've got several Audible credits left over, so I'm going to be eating those up.
I agree.
To use that up. So
I agree. I thought the train background noise, I didn't like need it, but it was interesting, and to me, it just separates it. To your point, from some of the other iterations of Harry Potter Audible, it'll easily set itself apart because of things like that. But it got me excited for like, okay, well, what noises are they going to do like and action scenes and like what noises are they going to
Yeah,
do?
that part
Like,
is cool. Yeah.
yeah,
Like there's
like
so
with
much. And like, I mean, like, Jim Dale basically did everything so perfect and amazing. And Stephen Fry did an amazing job too. Both those guys did great. So like there's already like fantastic versions out there, but why not put more, you know? And I mean,
exactly.
like some of the names they got the Matthew McFadden to do like Lord Voldemort, Hugh Laurie to do Dumbledore, which is those are like pretty big deals. And like we were talking about before, Riz Ahmed as Professor Snape is perfect. I wish he was Snape in the show. He would be perfect. I really do think that. I
He
really like him.
does
He's
hook
his
nose,
name
sallow
in
face.
Rebel in Rogue One is Bodhi, the pilot of the pilot, and he dies a hero as they all do.
As does Snape.
As does Snape. Yeah. But Bodhi's a
Uh,
lot more noble than Snape, I will say. Unless, I mean, I guess he was a pilot for the Empire, but I mean, he doesn't seem as to be bullying random children or anything like that.
agreed.
So,
Agreed.
you know,
Working
but
for the
yeah,
man, though.
it was cool to hear the voice of like the girl who plays Hermione because that's the actual girl, right? Um,
Agreed.
so super fun. I can't wait. It's gonna be really fun to listen to, especially with kids. So
Agreed. I can't wait is my final word. It also made me wish that I could like speak with a British accent. Like sometimes when I'm reading to my kids, I like try to do a British accent and they get mad and they're like, stop. But if I do it just like a soft, they'll let me do it. But then just reading it in like that accent is just so much better. So hearing all of them talk, I just loved it.
it's
So
true. I mean, it's a good reason. Like whenever they made the original movies, which obviously we don't like, but like she insisted on like British actors and stuff, which at least was a good choice because they were like, let's make Haley Joel Osment Harry Potter or something like that. You're like, no, that's a terrible idea. British people is fine. And then apparently we broke that rule because John Lithgow, who again he's played Winston Churchill, so he's pretty much basically British. So if he can be trusted to
seriously,
play Churchill, he can be trusted to be Dumbledore.
agreed. Again, probably the two most important British figures of all time. So
Yep.
agreed. All right. Well, that's our Witch Weekly. Again, very excited. And now we will. What do we dive into the pensive? And we're actually diving into the pensive and talking about the pensive in
The
part six
Pensieve.
of our
Yeah.
magical object series. We took a break. We took a break last week. I still haven't actually gone to Bora Bora because we're recording this before I go to Bora Bora, but we took a break and now we're ready for part six, which means we only have one left. William, we're not going to do this on air, but I'm just kind of debating if we should do the resurrection stone or if there's a better object we should do. We could talk about this offline. But
I feel like we can do better.
I think we can too. Let's talk. But today we can't do better. We're doing the pensive. I learned something as I researched all this, and again, I'm just very excited for this. So, um, without further ado, let's dive in.
Dive deep.
So, what I'm about to read is from HarryPotter.com, formerly known as Wizarding World, formerly known as
Pottermore.
Pottermore. Thank you. Here's what it says the actual pensive is. The Hogwarts pensive. Oh, sorry, that's Hogwarts. But still, that is, I guess, what I'm reading about. The Hogwarts pensive. It should apply to all pensives, and then we'll
I
get
guess
into
it's a
that a little
pensive
bit.
because it's at Hogwarts. Like it doesn't belong to Dumbledore. It belongs to the school.
Correct. And it's the only one that we're aware of in the books. The Hogwarts pensive is made of ornately carved stone and is engraved with modified Saxon runes, which mark it as an artifact of immense antiquity that predates the creation of the school. I should have read the powers first. We'll keep going. It's a magical device that could be used to store and review memories. The pensive is a rare artifact used by advanced witches and wizards. A shallow stone bowl carved with runes and symbols, the pensive could be filled with memories that appear like a silvery vapor, which other people could then view. So it's a tool to look at old memories, and we use it tons of times throughout the book. In the much needed book only ultimate unofficial Harry Potter trivia game, I have a very fun question. Level 4, William, are you ready?
I'm always ready.
So this won't cover all of the memories we see, but this is where we get some heavy use out of the pensive. We'll go into some more detail here, but we'll start with a fun trivia question. Name 6 people's memories that Dumbledore shows Harry to prepare him for his fight with Voldemort and teach him about Horcruxes. So 6 memories that we get in the 6th book as Dumbledore's taking him through time.
So specifically, only the 6th book
That's correct.
stuff we learned. Bob Ogden.
That is the first one. Yes.
Dumbledore's own memory,
Yes.
which is the coolest scene in that book, perhaps. And then we also have Morphin
Gaunt. Yes.
Gaunt's memory. Hokey, the house elf, not Hepzibah.
Hokey, the house elf.
It's Hokey's.
Owned by Hepzibah.
Caractacus Burke.
Very good pronunciation of a word I won't try to pronounce, a name. And there's one more.
And let's see.
Probably the easiest one, honestly.
Oh, Slughorns. Yeah.
Horace Slughorn.
Slughorns. Yeah, the most important one. The one that they're like, we must have this one, which I kind of feel like, did you really need that, or did you just need Harry to see it? It didn't really fill in any gaps that you couldn't have like been 98% certain were true.
It confirmed.
Yes.
98% sure suspicions. No, you're right. So yes, again, in the books, the pensive that we see is owned by Hogwarts, basically, owned by the current headmaster of Hogwarts, which of course during our time is Dumbledore. We learn, as I started to read from HarryPotter.com, is that that pensive belongs to the school. It's been passed down from headmaster to headmaster to headmistress, et cetera, et cetera. It says that, again, I was reading antiquity that predates the creation of the school itself, which to me is unbelievable. One unsubstantiated legend says that the founders discovered the pensive half buried in the ground on the very spot where they decided to erect the school. It's unsubstantiated. J.K. Rowling is the one who wrote that herself, so not sure how to take that as fact, but I thought that was fascinating. I had never read any of this. I hadn't done my own research.
Yeah, I hadn't actually. I'm sure I've read that at some point, but I did not like remember that at all.
I thought it was cool.
It's very cool.
But we first discover it in the 4th book, which to me, did I write this down right? 4th book, chapter 30. How many chapters are in the 4th book? Like, that's crazy to me. That's like so far into the book. The 7th book only has 36 chapters, or 37, plus an epilogue. Anyways, and it's called The Pensieve, and Harry stumbles onto it and sees several memories that he wasn't supposed to, and then Dumbledore teaches him what it is and talks about how sometimes my brain's just so full, I use this. And so that's kind of the background. I've got some more stats. I've been talking for too long. William, why don't you just hit us with some of your thoughts on the pensive?
Yeah, so the pensive was such a cool item, like the first time you see it, because it's like, I don't know. I think like the idea of like taking memory and like filling in the gaps and like projecting it like a TV show or something, like in our mind, like that's super cool, right? Like they don't have like cameras and iPhones that they've taken like all these pictures and videos of. So
moving pictures though, better than nothing.
Moving pictures better than nothing for sure. But I think it was like the imagination when you're a kid and you're reading that, you're like, wow, that is really cool. It's like, what if I could like relive my memories and like, it's kind of like putting on a VR headset and then like walking around like a recreated scene of your memory, right? This like virtual
exactly
world that you created, right?
Does that exist today? Like, can we do that?
I mean, it wouldn't be like memory like in Avengers or Captain America,
like Tony Stark.
Yeah. But I mean,
are we,
yeah,
close
for
to
sure.
That? Are we trying to do that? Like,
I mean, I know like on the Vision Pro, like on the Apple thing, like they have like these insane like camera rigs that like create like this insane detail and all this stuff. And like they put it in NBA games.
Right. That's
So
true.
it
I
looks like
mean,
you're courtside and not just like a little
true.
360 camera. Theirs is like a proprietary system that's like way more advanced than just like a thing. But again, nobody owns a Vision Pro and they don't make anything for it. So it's a complete waste of time.
Did they not
Um,
make them anymore? I
they
didn't know
make
that.
them. They actually just
Oh,
upgraded them. They're putting a new chip in them and they made it heavier. And nothing about it makes sense that they're doing it because they don't make content for it. There's no
I see.
Netflix app. There's no YouTube app. Like, what are you supposed to do with it
It's true. I
besides
don't know
spend
anyone who
thirty
owns
five
one.
hundred bucks?
I've never seen one.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen them at the store, and that's it.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
but
Sorry,
I mean,
I
if someone
interrupted.
gave me one, I would happily take one. But like, even if you bought one, there's like no like entertainment use for it. They don't have. You have to go to like a browser to do anything. Um. Anyway, the point is that it's like that. Like this thing, and I think the most incredible thing that's part of it is that like I think to use it, you would have to be like a particularly skilled wizard. Like, I don't think anyone can just like pull their thoughts out of their head in a coherent possible way, right? Like, Dumbledore and Snape can do that. They're very advanced, very powerful, smart guys. Like, I don't think Harry would know how to do any of that. He's not mentally capable of such things. Um,
So, I'll let you keep going. I also read that again. Never really got that far, like in my own thoughts about it or reading about it, but also on HarryPotter.com it says pensives are rare because only the most advanced wizards ever use them, and because the majority of wizard kind is afraid of doing so. Even more difficult than the recreation of memories is to use the pensive to examine and sort thoughts and ideas, and very few wizards have the ability to do so. I never thought
I
about
always,
that.
yeah, I thought about it too. Like what, like so when Dumbledore pulls a memory out of his head, do you think? I always imagined it's pulling it out. It's not a copy. It's out.
Yes,
Like it's not
I
like a hard drive. You can just copy it and paste it onto an external drive, and it's there. I always imagined it like you are pulling the memory out of your brain, which like obviously like our brain is like the most complicated thing in the world. Like we don't even fully understand them at all, right? Even neuroscientists don't. So what do you think? How did you
so
imagine it?
that's a great point, and I think well, first of all, I never thought about how complicated the human brain is, and therefore how complicated it would be to delete a memory without deleting anything else. So, very good point there on just
Yeah, like
grasping the difficulty
dangerous,
of it.
right? Like really
Yes,
dangerous.
yeah, like memory modification, yeah, Lockhart style. Um, and but Snape surely like proves that theory, right? Where Snape does not want Harry to see certain things. Therefore, he removes it from his brain before the occlumency
Yeah.
lessons so that
So
Harry
it's not
cannot
there.
see them. So it is not there. But then like what happens to Snape? Like Snape has removed a memory and now that memory is not in his head. And then what? He's just like, I know that there's a memory in that bowl that I don't want Harry to see, but I don't actually know what that memory is. Like that doesn't make sense. Like how do
I
you
think he knows that it's like about Lily and stuff like that though, because like he didn't delete Lily from his brain, right?
right?
He deleted like specific instances of like what's happening that's important. You know what I mean?
Like he wouldn't be able to recall the details of that scene. He would know in general that that scene happened, but those
Correct. Yeah.
details
That's
are
what I
gone
think.
from
Yeah.
his brain.
Like those details so like it can't be like accessed and like shown. You just like it's like deleting a movie from your library or something.
So
Um
then, so
it's there. You're like, "Hey, I remember there's a memory about Lily and me and I have memories about that memory, but I can put it back when I'm done."
so so going on this point again, you're hitting some of the points that I wrote down, the hypotheticals and the fun questions I had. So then, like Dumbledore, he uses it to study, right? Snape uses it to hide and protect. Dumbledore's using it to study, which again, HarryPotter.com says is incredibly difficult to do. So then, like, he takes out all the trials, right, out of his head, and he's taking Bertha Jorkins out of his head. And then he's taking things that Snape and Harry say, and he's got all this in the fourth book as he's just trying to put all the pieces together. So like all those memories are out of his head, but then he watches those memories, and so like, do we have some inception happening here? Where he's like, I don't have the memory, but I have the memory of the memory because I watched it, and I'm trying to put the pieces together. Like, it's hard for me to conceptualize how he's actually freeing his brain. I mean, I think I do. I don't know. It's hard for me to get to the final stage of like, yeah, I took all these things out of my brain. I could see them all in front of me, and
Right.
now I can see the whole picture.
I think so. I think it's like that. I think he's pulling out very specific things and then like watching it on TV. And then by watching it, it creates another memory, right?
Yeah,
Of it. Right. That's what I think like happens with that.
yeah.
So like
And then he
by
can
the
put it
way
back in.
he
Yeah,
exactly. And so like he still has like but like the magic of the pensive is like I guess like reliving it with such detail, right?
right.
Like if you could relive like certain parts of your life that are like the birth of a child, etc., or something like that, like with such detail, like that would be really cool. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I have that memory. I have lots of great memories, but like we've all wanted to be like, what if I could just like really relive that and like see it,
Right.
you know?
I mean, truly incredible, which is why we're talking about this. So I'm gonna read. I'm gonna read the memories that we see, and I'm gonna lead it into a question which you just touched on right there. But you already talked through all of the memories that we see to prepare for Horcruxes. The other memories that we
Hmm.
see are Dumbledore's. We see the trials of Barty Crouch Jr. And Bellatrix and two others, and then Karkaroff and Ludo Bagman. Those are Harry's.
Hmm.
That's Harry's first venture into the Pensive. Then we just see Dumbledore just again like conjuring up memories. We don't dive in. We see Bertha Jorkins at school. We see Snape telling him the Dark Mark is coming back. And then, of course, as we already described, Snape is hiding his worst memory of being tortured and by James Potter and calling Lily a mudblood. Harry sees that, and then again we have all of the Horcrux scenes that we already talked about, and then finally we have Snape's the Prince's Tale as the final thing that we see in the Pensive, and um, so a question from here, right, is Dumbledore says as he's going through the memories, he says, "Today we're going into my memory. You'll find it rich and full of detail and incredibly accurate." And you've talked about this on other pods, certainly with me off this, but you know, it's your memory in there. It's not exactly what's happened. It's your memory. And memory can be wrong. It is often wrong and can be changed. And we see that Slughorn very poorly tries to change his memory. Um, so I want you to talk a little bit about that, but then I have like a follow up question because we go. I want you to talk about that, and then I'm going to ask a pointed question.
Yeah, so I think like Dumbledore well, Dumbledore knows it's accurate because he's done like a bunch of other research and stuff, and he's like kind of
Right,
built out this whole dossier on like Voldemort's life. So
for
he
sure.
knows like, and like he knows how important this one is, and it's not like you know, gossip or something. That's
Right,
like a he said, she said, or something. Because like memory, I mean, like eyewitness testimony is unreliable. Like people will swear they see things up and down, and then like a video of it will be like, that's not what happened. You know what I mean? Like we all are the heroes of our own story. We all make up stuff. Um, we remember things differently, even if it's not like malicious, right? Like even if you're like not being bad, you're still going to remember things different than it may have happened. Which is like I guess like one of the beautiful things about life is that like if you link back at your memory, like you're never 100% sure of exactly what happened.
yeah,
Um, you know, like there's always like memories of your family, your mom, your dad, or whatever, your childhood. Like you have bits of it, but like, you know, when siblings talk to each other about stuff, like they disagree on certain things, you know, but no, I didn't say it that. No, that's what happened, right? So like like Dumbledore being able to pull that out and create such like a specific memory, like he's like, look, it's going to get us where we need to go. It is detailed. And let's be honest, like Dumbledore is cognitively on a different level. Like his
correct.
ability to recall and remember things and recreate and magically somehow like create these things is obviously on another level from
Fair.
the memory of Bob Ogden, you know,
Right.
or something like that, you know.
And and I have no reservations that yeah, like any of the memories we saw were incorrect or, Dumbledore couldn't have seen. I guess how hard this isn't the question I have, but like how like Slughorn did a horrible job like changing his memory. And I think that's because he had the real memory in there. And I don't think you can just like pretend it didn't happen. Like Dumbledore asked for the memory, he gave him the memory, did horrible cover up of it, but like he couldn't just like tweak the memory in his head and just
Mhm.
actually make him say that, right? It's like you can't just like you can't purposely change the memory, I guess is what I'm saying, without I don't know, without doing what you said, like doing it and believing it.
Yeah, I think so because like your subconscious, like even like we all like have denial about things and like we recreate things in our own story, but like we also everyone also like has lied and like has said
Right.
like no, I did it this way, you said this, I said that, this is what happened. And then it's like those TV commercials where like they throw a flag and they review the play, right?
Yes.
But like, you know, I think like when you're dealing with like the memory, it's like such a murky kind of thing, which is probably why something like this can't be used as like, they don't use this in trials and stuff.
Right.
But the wizard justice system is really messed up. I mean, they send people to jail without a trial. So,
It's flawed in a lot
life
of
in
ways.
prison without a trial.
Correct.
I'm pretty sure, you know,
There's a
that's
problem there.
terrible. Like that's
It
beyond
is.
terrible.
War criminals. What can you do?
Yeah.
War times. Okay. Well, this is the actual question that I had. Like the the memory we get the most into, from my perspective, is Snape's worst memory. And that starts like in taking an OWL. And like Harry is not very close to Snape. Snape is just heads down. This is his memory, and he's just going to town writing what's happening. And then there's a whole world happening around him, which Snape surely didn't see or cognitively look at or even pay attention to in any way, shape, or form. But he's
Yeah.
able to go to like James Potter's notebook and see that James is just writing Lily all over and over again. And he can see like Sirius is just over being hot, just like shoving off girls. And he can hear the entire Marauder's conversation, which maybe he could hear, maybe he couldn't, but I doubt it. Like they're talking just openly about Lupin being a werewolf, and Snape's got all of that right at his fingertips. Tell
Yeah,
tell
I
me about
think
this.
I think there's like two ways to think about that. One, it's just the magic of it, like, and that's cool to watch. But two, I
It's
think it
amazing.
does make more sense because Snape's memory of that has now been colored and filled in the lines by his future experiences, right? Of knowing he is a werewolf, hearing all of them talk all the time. He knows James is obsessed with Lily. He's probably seen the diary at some point or something like that, him do that, right? Like he knows all of these things, even if he didn't know it all in that specific moment, right? And so like somewhere in his subconscious, like he heard, he's like I imagine like sometimes he's taking the test, right? And he can hear them talking or something. He's like those freaking idiots. And then he just keeps going, like he's,
Right.
so like it is filling in gaps with like essentially AI generated fluff, like we do now, where they're like, hey, you don't like the picture? I don't know, fill it in, fake it, change it up, right? So, but again, like the important part is that, like, I think, like, if they explored it more, it'd be like, look, the pensive is like, it's kind of like the Mirror of Erised, like, it'll drive you mad if you use it the wrong way, right?
Right.
Like, use it as a way to reach to the past and relive the past. But if you use it to like organize your thoughts and plan and think and everything like that, like it's gonna give you, it's a really powerful tool. So like,
Right.
If you were using it so you could get to know your father, it's a poor substitute and it's gonna drive you insane. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like if
Right.
Tony Stark did all that and just like basically lived in that virtual world, like with his parents, he'd be insane. So I don't know. I feel like it's just filling in stuff from like his memory and his subconscious and like his life experience up until that point, and it fills in the gaps.
I like that. I mean, again, to me, it is number one a testament to the magic of the pensive, and two, to your point, like shouldn't everyone like everyone should be doing this? It's like you can get that kind of detail from things happening that far. It's like taking a limitless pill, except for it's just for a certain memory. We're like
Right.
limitless, right? You take the pill and like everything you've ever picked up on subconsciously is there. You can recollect it perfectly.
And
That's
the
kind of what's happening.
Yeah, and the important thing is like I don't necessarily believe that every little thing they're saying or talking about is what exactly happened.
That's what I was gonna
But
say.
the
Like,
big
yeah,
picture is, look, Snape was a certain way, the Marauders were a certain way. Like whether or not those were the exact things they were saying to make fun of each other and make fun of Snape or whatever, like yeah, whatever, who knows? Like they may have said something slightly different. But like the highlights are the most important part. Like they're enemies, they don't like each other. He called her a mudblood, and James tortured him. You know, James was tormenting him for no reason, right?
I like
Which
that.
happened all the time,
I'm
right?
aligned with that. Again, we take everything that we heard as fact, like this is exactly what happened, and I think that's fine. But also, I agree with what you said that like didn't yeah the AI filler. I feel like I agree with that. I feel like that's the right way to think about it.
Yeah,
I like it.
like it's not fact. It's some of it is, but like if you're getting bogged down in the details, it's kind of not the point of the pensive, right?
No,
Like like Dumbledore does say he's trying to look for patterns and things like that, but like again, like I would think that like the way that he uses it isn't about like knowing that it's an infallible memory. It's looking at the big picture and like thinking about things a different way. And yeah, you can discover things that you didn't know were there because that is magical, that you can dive deeper into your subconscious, things that you remember, but you don't know you remember, you know,
right,
like all that
right.
stuff. Like that's an amazing thing.
It's
But it's
incredible.
not like supposed to be like this is a video recording of exactly what happened. Watch,
No,
you know. At least that's how
and
I always thought of it and imagined it.
I agree. And again, you know, again, the justice system of the wizarding world, and like, you know, they've thrown out like use veritaserum. Why don't they use that more? And again, I think we've covered that a little bit. There's antidotes, there's ways around it. Wizards will rise to it, but this is another one of like, why don't you put everyone's memories into the pensive? But I feel like they've answered a lot of that. One, they're incredibly rare. Two, it's incredibly difficult to do. Three, you can modify it. Four, memory isn't perfect. Like, there's a million
Yeah,
reasons
and you
why
need
you
someone
wouldn't
with
use
like
this.
Dumbledore's skill
Yeah,
to like reach in and pull that out. You know what I mean?
exactly.
So
Yeah.
like his full-time job now is like dealing with criminals and like pulling out a Mundungus's head like, "Hey, you stole all these dodgy cauldrons. Okay, like you know, let's reach in there and search around for it, find it and,
Yeah, that's
you know,
it's not worth his
sounds like a
time.
waste of time and
Yes,
resources
it's not
when you
worth his time.
have other ways to you know, mess with people
I
and
agree.
do things. So,
I'm gonna read. I'm gonna read a couple more stats and then ask another pointed question. This has been. I've been loving this. I already said the first mention. Total mentions amongst the 7 books. Again, the first one doesn't happen until somewhat late in the fourth book, but there's 101 mentions throughout the entire series. There's 78 that just say the word pensive, but then I counted an additional 23 that are referring to a stone basin or something like that. Uh, over that, um, and the last mention again, we're now 6 for 6, where wherever these objects have been introduced, they play a key role at the end of this series, or at least have a full circle moment of Harry, you know, kind of referencing a memory with this object. And the pensive, of course, is very heavily used in the at the end of Deathly Hallows, where he gets to witness the Prince's Tale. Sorry, that took too long to say all that. And of course, witness how Snape is a hero. It is mentioned one more time after that at King's Cross, where, or sorry, it is mentioned in the last chapter of Harry Potter as well, when he walks back into Dumbledore's room and Dumbledore's office, and the first thing he sees is the pensive, and then the portraits all cheer and go wild. But anyways, so it is mentioned truly in the last chapter, but that doesn't matter. I want to focus on Snape for a second. Snape is dying. He is literally seconds from death we've just talked a lot about how complicated it is to do what Snape is about to do. And he pulls out not one memory, which again, we believe is very complicated to do. He pulls out an incredible series of memories that perfectly paint a picture for our young Harry Potter to understand Snape's entire journey. Like,
Right.
is the magic he does there on his deathbed like the most impressive thing that we've seen in all 7 works?
It's pretty impressive. Like it's like clutch, right? Clutch is what we would call it for sure. I will say this though. One, Snape is one of the probably, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 most intelligent people, right? You have Dumbledore and Voldemort are kind of off on their own. And then you have after that, probably Snape. And then
Wow.
At least like you just get more info about him. Like I'm sure McGonagall is equally as smart, but she's you just spend less time with her,
Right.
That's what I mean. But like I've always thought of Snape as one, like as smart as Hermione is, Snape is smarter. Or like maybe he's just less noble, which is a whole, I guess, more powerful for sure. You know what I mean?
Right.
But my point is that one, he is that smart to do something like that, and two, I think he was like well prepared. He was like, I got these things like locked, they're loaded.
Right.
Like
he had moved that to a section of his brain. He was ready to pull.
He knows he's not being like, all right, which one did I need again? All right, I want that one. Yeah, I'll give him that one. Like, no, he was like, boom, that's what you need. Like, I've already planned it out. Like, and he probably was like worried about his own life at any point. He's prepared and making sure. So I always imagine like that.
Fair. He'd done the pre-work, which was still probably a challenge.
But yeah, like on your deathbed while
brain.
your neck is gushing blood,
Again,
snake venom is rolling through you.
Again, you haven't seen Wheel of Time, and this is wasted on you, but there are certain magic which forces you to basically follow someone's commands. And then there's healing, where somebody basically takes all of those weaves and unwinds them out of your brain, and it's very dangerous and very complicated. And if they miss one little weave, they'll basically muddle your whole brain. And that's what I'm picturing. Like, this is what it takes to get it out of there. Like, there's so much in there, and
Right.
you are trying not to touch anything that you don't want to, and just getting the one thing that you want. And I don't know.
Yeah, and I mean, and I think like Lockhart, when he does memory charms, his is like blunt force, right? He's just like basically beating someone over a head and turning them stupid the rest of their life. You know what I mean? He's like mentally incapacitating them, right?
Horrible person.
He's not a surgeon. He is a blunt instrument, right? Whereas like Dumbledore and Snape, like they're with a scalpel, they're like getting exactly what they need and all that stuff. So
exactly. Well said. Well said. There's just 2 more stat things that I have. One is that, I mean, surely the comp. I feel like there's 2 comps here. One is obviously Riddle's diary, which, again, Riddle made his own Pensieve, I guess, of his own life
for sure,
up till he was 16. And then you talked about it already, like the dangers of the Pensieve, and a lot of the Resurrection Stone and the Mirror of Erised, where I feel like it also deserves a relationship there of like, it can put you on a dangerous path of distorting reality and you wanting to live in a world that cannot be more than the real world, which all 3 of those, or both of those, do.
Yeah. Then you're just lost.
And surely there are other literary mechanisms to go down memory lane. I feel like it's more like visions and like dreams and things like that, but I can't think of anything like the Pensieve and other literature, but I'm not that well read.
Right. I'm trying to think like Star Wars, like, but there's not really, I might be missing something, but there's not like a specific thing I could think of. Other than what you said, like they use the Force to Jedi mind trick, but that's not the same.
I mean, again, in Wheel of Time, they go to a place called Ruidian and they see their ancestors' past memories, and it's a similar like magical object that allows you to do that, but you can't put whatever memory you want in there. There's a set set memories that the magical object shows you. So not quite the same.
That's pretty
thing.
cool.
It is cool. The last thing I just want to say is the way that she describes what memory looks like. I feel like is so cool. Where Harry's like, it's light made liquid or wind made solid. I feel like it's an incredible visual for
That is. That's always been something that sticks out in my mind of like that's good description. That's good writing, I think.
Yeah. My dumb brain, the closest I can get to is like yeah, the closest I can get to is what is it called? The fog that comes out of like a cauldron. What is that? Why am I blanking on that?
Steam?
No, dry ice. Like when you drop
dry ice. Oh,
yeah. That's as close as I can get, which is not the same thing.
No, like a fog machine.
Yeah,
like not quite this cool.
No,
but again, I like that description because it's like it's not something I can like point to, be like, oh, it's like lava or whatever. Like it is not of this world. It is a magical made up thing. That's very cool.
It is. I had written down 6 pointed questions that I wanted to ask you, and we covered them all, whether directly or indirectly. So I'm tapped out.
We're just
what
that
else
good.
You got on the Pensieve? We are that good.
Now that I just think the coolest thing about the Pensieve is like its relation to memory and the complications of that and how messy it is and like how powerful and how important it is. It played a huge role in the book, and the device used to do it is pretty cool. So it's a really important magical object and definitely worthy of us including it on this list. Congrats to us.
Agreed. This was easily makes our top 6. Again, I'm still in debate on our 7th and final object, so we'll regroup on that, but don't you worry, Half-Bloods. We will make sure it's awesome.
Yep.
Okay. Well, we're done with our Pensieve. And now we can board the Hogwarts Express and go to my favorite segment, which is, of course, the real GOAT debate. Not MJ versus LeBron, because LeBron is an old man with old man diseases who should retire. And we're here to talk about Harry Potter versus Michael Jordan. Last week, we did 1996 and Book 5, Order of the Phoenix, which MJ won in a landslide. Wasn't close. And now
72-10.
It's
done.
Harry is responsible for the murder of his godfather. Sorry. Here we are to 1997, which is Book 6, The Half-Blood Prince, versus 1997, the 1997 NBA basketball
Half-Blood
season.
Prince.
William, take us through Harry's resume in The Half-Blood Prince.
Let's do it. Okay, house points. Harry's highlights 70, which may or may not be like the lowest. Minus 70, excuse me. Minus 70, which is like the lowest he's ever gotten.
It's his lowest. I question, is it the lowest all time? Like, has anyone gotten lower than 70 points all time? I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, he kind of almost murdered a kid. So
that kid used an unforgivable curse on him. So
that's true. It would have been manslaughter. He wouldn't have been tried for murder. It would have been manslaughter.
And the corpse of Malfoy should have been in Azkaban for using an unforgivable curse.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Which, again, like they say, a use of any one of them on a fellow wizard is enough to land you in Azkaban for a lifetime. But then later on, Harry uses the Imperius Curse like candy, so, go figure.
And some Crucio.
Yeah, and some Crucio. Also, she deserved it.
Agreed.
Anyway, House Champion, DNP, coach's decision. Quidditch record, 2-0. Got suspended. This time, definitely his own fault. And he was a Quidditch champion for the 3rd time. No thanks to him. And he macked on Ginny.
Yeah. Have respect.
So, I guess, and then that was like the important part, I guess, for him, and then other than that, like it's, the learning more about the backstory, Horcruxes and all that stuff. So there's a lot of stuff he learns that actually like fills out the full picture. Well, not the full picture, but the next part of the picture. Very pivotal stuff. So, and at the end of the book, some guy dies. Dumbledore dies. Spoiler
Remy,
alert,
please don't
Dumbledore
listen
dies,
to this.
and it's a huge bummer.
Yeah.
Which
This is why my children can't listen to the podcast.
yes, but not his fault. The way that Sirius was.
No, not at all. And he's learned how to mourn at this point. He's not destroyed by this. He's able to laugh or smile.
It makes him stronger.
Exactly. He is our hero at this point. He is the Harry that is going to save the day at this point. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So run me through MJ's, which is definitely going to be probably end on a better note.
So MJ naturally led the league again in scoring for his second to last time. He was the regular season MVP runner-up. This happened in 1993, and he destroyed Charles Barkley in the finals. This year, it was Karl Malone who stole it from him. An infamous article by, what's her name? Pat. This is embarrassing. I should know her name. She's on Around the Horn all the time. She's boys with Wilbon and
Jackie McMullen.
Jackie McMullen famously wrote an article that was like, Karl Malone should be the MVP. And it worked. It was just propaganda. It was, pardon my take, just gassing him up. It worked.
Not the first or last time MVPs have been stolen.
No.
Maybe looking back on it, though, Malone's a bum. And he's a bad dude. So
it is at least once a month that Bill Simmons is like, I need to just keep saying that Karl Malone is not as good as anybody else, and I don't care for all of you in 2060 who are just looking at Basketball Reference.
That's what ultimately this is like. My aim with this podcast is to do the same thing, but the opposite direction for Tim Duncan. But
good call.
I feel like people respect Tim Duncan. Maybe it's because I live in San Antonio. I don't know. Might have something to do with it.
Maybe it's because he didn't do things that should put him in jail. I don't know.
Yeah, probably not.
Anyways, so he lost to Karl Malone in a very close MVP race and then demolished him in the NBA Finals, proving for the second time, I'm the real MVP. And, of course, went on to win the Finals MVP and his fifth championship.
Can I say also this is the first Finals I remember, like, watching multiple games.
Very cool.
Like, I remember watching all of these games.
I'm so jealous.
Barely remember. I don't know if I remember the 96.
Yeah.
I definitely remember 97. I remember against the Jazz both times.
I have hazy memories of this.
Just turned 7 years old. So
I vividly remember the Jazz beating the Lakers. I think it was 98. And my like dad being very happy that Kobe and Shaq lost. And I vividly remember watching the end of a Jazz Lakers game, but I'd be lying if I said I have firm memories of Michael Jordan finals, which is sad. And now it's on the air forever. So
do you remember? Well, I mean, we'll save it for next week, I guess, but I mean, yeah, we'll save it for next week. I don't know. This is why I watch things with my kids. Like this today, like before I put him to bed, I was like, we need to watch Shohei Ohtani pitch for a little bit.
Yeah.
Which he went out of the game. He's losing 2-1, but he only gave up 2 runs. So like, even if he loses, like, whatever. Which is why I went and saw Wembanyama last night with one of my other sons. History must be witnessed.
Exactly. Both of those men are very historic. So he's following up his 72-10 season, the greatest statistical season in the history of the NBA. And he followed that up with 69 wins, which like 3 other teams have ever done. And then went 15-4 in the playoffs, losing twice to the Jazz and lost twice before that. So had another top 5 season on the heels of his number 1 season ever. So pretty incredible. Had the iconic flu game, which is one of his most famous games, and hit the game-winning shot in Game 2. again, another one of his iconic moments. So it's kind of all pluses for MJ. Like, I'm not sure where the negatives are. He lost the MVP. I guess that's his negative. Again, just putting a small chip on his shoulder. He didn't average 30 points a game, only 29.6 in a defense only league at this time. So I guess those would be his
Every
downs,
night people were
but
trying to kill him.
ultimately Michael Jordan, yeah, he's just stacking wins on wins on wins at this point.
Okay, so my first thought is I'm leaning MJ because, like you mentioned, did not win the MVP. He got robbed, but he didn't win the MVP. But also, Harry's Quidditch team won the championship without him. Harry is a very overrated Quidditch player. Like multiple times, teams are going out there and winning. Ginny just stepped in and was like, "Yeah, I'll be Seeker." Boom, won.
I'm excited to post this one on social media. This is going to be hard for Cassie to edit because we're so long-winded on this. But like all the comments that I'm getting is like MJ's overrated, and here's why. But this one is going to be no. It's all about Harry being overrated. This is Harry's overrated moment.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't even need him. He had negative house points. He got, I mean, yes, he was right. Like Malfoy was up to something, right? But again, like Dumbledore knew Malfoy was up to something. Now, he was not prepared for like how Malfoy did get the Death Eaters into the school. Like that, Malfoy outdid him. Like that's a big win for Malfoy and his terribleness. But I mean, Harry, he didn't. I don't know what's his war on the Quidditch pitch. It's not great. Okay,
no,
like they don't need him. He's an overrated Quidditch player. He's not that good. They just shoved in Ginny Weasley, who's like, yeah, I'm really more of a chaser anyway, and they still won the Quidditch Cup. They don't need him. Charlie, okay. I always think like they're like, oh, he could be better than Charlie. Charlie would have been so much better than him, for sure. Like, there's no way Charlie wouldn't have been better than him.
I mean, how do we think about this? Like, is Ginny that good? Ginny goes on to play professionally.
Ginny's fantastic. Yeah, but Ginny's a chaser. This is my point, is that like Ginny's like, yeah, like I know I'm good at Quidditch, but like I'm not really a chaser. I'm not really a seeker. Like I'm more of a chaser.
I'm just saying. I agree that Harry's overrated, but he also only lost one game and it was because of a terrorist attack. So like his record stands for itself. Harry didn't play against any Hall of Famers. Like Malfoy says it himself, and Malfoy's probably the best seeker he played against. And Malfoy was just like, "Yeah, I wanted to go pro. I wasn't good enough." He says that in Cursed Child. So like,
does he really? That's funny.
Harry's competition, I just feel like it's not that good.
No, probably not. Right? I mean,
no Hall of Famers. He's not.
I don't know. I'm just saying, like, I feel like Harry was a good Quidditch player, but like his wins above replacement is not super high. Like he was the best seeker at the school probably, and he might have been a better seeker than Ginny, but they didn't need him to win. Literally, they did it twice. The reason I think MJ won this year is because Harry has some big wins. Like he learns a lot, and I just don't feel like he has, like, this is like the calm before the storm. I don't know. It's like it's setting up what's coming next. Like he didn't lose. Like he won a house championship, but like a Quidditch championship, excuse me. But the Quidditch championship specifically, like it would be like, I don't know, like one of the Patriots championships they won and Gronk was hurt the whole year.
Yeah.
I mean, that just reflects great on Tom Brady. So, so like Gronk, probably the best tight end of all time. Great, fantastic, great man. But it just goes to show you, like, he just wasn't that important to. I mean, they won a Super Bowl. They didn't even have him. Who cares? Tyreek Hill left, and guess what? The Chiefs won 2 Super Bowls. Yeah, their offense is boring, but they won 2 Super Bowls. So they clearly didn't need Tyreek Hill.
Is there any common denominator on all three championships? Is Katie Bell on all three? Does she come back and play in that championship?
I think so. Yeah,
She
she's
plays in the
back.
sixth.
Yeah,
Is Katie Bell the real
yeah.
GOAT here? Is she the only
I mean,
three-peat?
she's a glue girl, right? Real glue guy. You
She's
know?
the only three-peat that I can see. Is she the Robert Ory of Hogwarts Quidditch?
Yeah, there you go.
I don't know. I'm just
I can
saying.
see that.
I'm just saying. Okay, a small defense for Harry. I mean, Harry opens like this is my favorite book. It's there's not. I mean, MJ.
Oh,
I think
I love
wins.
this book, and there's so
Yeah,
much good stuff that Harry does in this book. It's a
exactly.
fantastic book.
So like he gets to leave the Dursleys almost immediately, and then gets to apparate with Dumbledore. Like again, just starts off so strong with like the man who was ruining his life because he wouldn't make eye contact with him last year. Is just like you have all my attention, and I'm going to tutor you, and it just starts off awesome. And then yeah, he's captain of the Quidditch team. He's very excited about that. He's never been more popular at school. Like this is the first time basically ever that he is universally adored at Hogwarts for almost the entire book. People want him, you know.
And
Romilda
he
Vane is
maxed
trying
on
to get all
Ginny.
up in that, you know. Like Slughorn is just trying to woo him. Like he is adored. He doesn't have to do potions with Snape. Well, he has to do defense against the dark arts with him. He becomes a star student in potions. Like even Hermione's jealous of his skills. He gets to use liquid luck and set himself up to, you know, have his future wife destroy Voldemort. Like a lot happens on that liquid luck. It's pretty incredible. And then again, he's so mature that like the death of his mentor and hero
PEDs.
doesn't destroy his life. Like he works through that. And you already said it. He's right about everything the entire year. Like the second to last chapter is Harry just breaking it down like, hey, I was right here. Hey, I was right here. And Hermione and Ron just being like, sorry, Harry, you were right. And he's like, you're dang right I was. It honestly is a great year for Harry. Like is it his best year to date? First, second, and third, those are also pretty good. But
Yeah, no one died in the other ones, minus Quirrell. Not all the other years, but the first three.
you're right. Which is why I mentioned those as possibilities. Again, the third ending is I don't know. Anyways, I think there's a defense for Harry. I'm still voting MJ.
I think you're right. I think you're right. I think so. I will say this: like, if you look at it in totality, he does a lot of winning. I did talk a lot about the Quidditch thing just because I wanted to talk about how he's overrated, you know, and he's not that good of a Quidditch player. Like he's good, but he's not. He's not like, you know, that good. Like he's just regular good. They clearly can replace him and they can still win. Doesn't matter. But all the other stuff, that is really valid. So like if you had to rate his year, this is one of his best years so far. Obviously, it ends on a really low note. Dumbledore dying, finding out or thinking that Snape is like a huge betraying, like double agent, all that stuff, like huge bummer. But you know, gets with Ginny, a bunch of other stuff, like a lot of winning. So like I do think you're right. I think it is close. I would say that like it's like, you know, if 1 to 100, I'm like, you know, MJ had a 98, he had like a 95. You know, it's close.
Exactly.
It's close.
This
And I
is
could
a
probably be
great year for
swayed if I
Harry.
thought harder about it. But
Exactly.
a lot of the other stuff, I'm just gonna go back to like, I think the tiebreaker for me is like, I just can't. It's a Mickey Mouse Quidditch championship. Like he didn't earn it.
No, he didn't. The Tyreek Hill comparison is, I really like that. You know, he's like, yeah, he made a good team great, but then that good team was still great without him.
Yep, exactly. And they left, and he won 2 more titles, and they're fine.
Interesting. Well, I'm excited. This is going to be hard for Cassie to edit. We get longer and longer on these MJ versus Harry, but I don't care.
The years don't line up, but one day we could do this between like Taylor Swift's run of like I mean, she's going on a 20-year banger right now, but
Right.
we could do like a snap of time of Taylor Swift, like her last
I like this.
8 years, you know.
There's got to
Up
be
until
something
now.
we could do like album by album and somehow what is the Harry Potter
Yeah.
blank that matches this
mean,
album, you know?
She won a Super Bowl.
Yeah, she did. She got to celebrate on the field. She got to she got she got to grab her wood, just like Harry did in the field. Embrace that wood tight. Oliver Wood. All right. Well, that's year 7
That's a good one.
slash
Head to head,
6. Yeah.
it'll be good. And I hope I don't know. If I need to re-record something more catchy about like Harry Potter is an overrated Quidditch player. He was not that good. In some
That's really
obnoxious voice.
We could
I'll
just
write
leave
it out.
That.
Yeah,
we
I'll
just
make up
cut
a bunch
straight
of
to
other
that.
stuff I don't believe that makes it sound way more like aggressive.
I like that. I like that.
Like
Aggro,
that
I
one,
think,
like
is
the one I sent you today of that whatever coach on YouTube that's just breaking down why Brawny's terrible.
Bronny James is a blank idiot, and here's why. That was awesome.
First words.
He's aggressive.
That's great.
He's aggressive. Not quite the podcast we're going for, but maybe one day.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, next week we will do 1998 and book 7. But we won't do a finale conclusion. We'll wait one more week to do that, just to get every inch of this we can. #wood. Okay. So last week we set up doing a 20 questions on our wonderful little 20 questions game. And what we wanted to look up was the prefect's bathroom. William, were you able to get that answer on?
Yes, it did it in like 14 questions. It didn't even use all 20.
It rarely does that for me. It took me 20 because you're better than me. I'm embarrassed. I failed the first time. It guessed the room of requirement and Gryffindor common room the first 2 times, but it was my fault. And then I corrected some of my answers.
It's tough. You got to like, because for the people out there, like this thing is awesome, but like it gives you person, place, thing, or unknown as a category. So that's your first question: person, place, thing, or unknown. And then your answers to everything are unknown, no, yes, sometimes. So, like, you can be really. I go back and forth constantly when I pick an answer. Like, like some stuff might be really easy if you used Harry Potter as a character. Like, you can put yes, no, sometimes, whatever. But it asks questions like, can it be found in Diagon Alley? You're like. I did want like some food item. I was thinking about like chipolatas, right? And I was like, well, I mean, they never mentioned them in Diagon Alley, but I'm sure they could be found there. There's a restaurant, or you can tie yourself into mental knots.
Yes,
you know what I mean.
In the book, can it be found in Diagon Alley? Is how I generally try to treat that question. But
yeah,
you're right.
But I trip up too. Like I always answer it, and I'm like, oh, I don't think I should have done that.
Yeah, like 2 of the questions I went back on, one was like, is it heavily guarded? The first time I said yes, and the second time I said no. I was like, it's not guarded. I was like, well, it has a password. To me, that's like, it's pretty guarded, but no. And then the other one was like, does it have secret passages? And I said yes the first time. That was a mistake. It was a clear no, but I was like, I don't know, like it's a secret. Yep, it's a secret to get in there, but that's not what it was asking.
Right. So, but that's a good example. You could put like no or unknown, right? You're like, well, I don't know. Maybe it does, right? It's in the Hogwarts. But the answer is no. Like, does it show that it has secret passages? No. Then it doesn't have secret passages that we know of, right?
Well, then,
but you'll psych yourself out when you're really trying, especially when you find weird things.
Right. Which is, again, why it's fun. This is a test for you much more than a test for this.
Yeah.
Object.
So let's think of it. We need another one for this week.
Well, so you said you're acting like you tried chipolatas. I tried chipolatas just for fun. Because you mentioned it last pod, and I couldn't even get it to guess a food. Like I couldn't come close.
I got it to guess a food. It guessed treacle tart.
What? The 3 things it guessed, I obviously suck at this. It guessed Harry's acceptance letter after 15 questions, Mrs. Fig's cat after 20, and Dumbledore's beard after 25 questions. Dumbledore's
beard
is an answer in this 20 questions thing.
All right. Well, how about this? Then let's do Snape's hooked nose.
Right?
If it can get Dumbledore's beard, how about Snape's nose?
Let's go for it. I'm in. Okay, if we can't do that, should we shift to like Harry's green eyes? I'm just trying to think of super distinctive body parts in Harry Potter. Like Hook nose, Dumbledore's beard, Harry's green eyes. I feel like those would be the three. I don't know.
Right. I'm trying to think.
Or maybe I should just try to get Dumbledore's beard again and see if I can repeat that. That might be a challenge enough.
Yeah, we know it's there, but yeah, figuring it out. I'm trying to think. What's like the most forgotten broomstick? Shooting star?
Ooh. Shooting star. Yeah, what about Silver Arrow? I think it's only mentioned one time.
Silver Arrow.
I feel like doing a unique broomstick is tough though, because then it just says like you're a racing broom or you're a firebolt, and like how do I differentiate between a firebolt and a silver arrow with the questions that it gives me?
Well, let's this week let's try like 3 different. Let's try multiple brooms. I don't know. Let's like
try to get
Combat
it to
260. Not the firebolt or Nimbus. Combat 260, Silver Arrow, Shooting Star.
I'll settle for any broom that's not a Nimbus or a firebolt. Like if I can get that, I will be satisfied.
Just agreed.
Okay. I'm excited. Okay. Well, I want to finish. I feel like we only need one segment to end, but we're going to do 2. And I've got another unnatural little beast.
Just to make Cassie mad.
Or George. Cassie doesn't care anymore. Just do whatever you want on the pods. I've got a question for you. And
do it, Lars. What book?
I don't know if this is... Yeah, sorry. We're still in book 2. We're not that far along. Again, I'm trying to capture all of the notable Fred and George moments. And I don't know if this is notable enough. I'm trying to, again, do notable moments. I'm not sure this qualifies, but I'm still asking it. The question is, and then I'll read the quote and leave out the name. The question is, who first shows Harry how to use flue powder? So they're at the burrow and they're going to Diagon Alley, and Harry's like, they're like, okay, you go first, Harry. And he's like, I don't know what to do. And then Fred's like, he'll be all... I said the answer. You idiot. You freaking idiot. All right, I got 2 more. It's fine.
Fred.
I feel like we already mentioned these. I already mentioned these, and so I don't know if these are
still Chamber of Secrets.
Yeah, still Chamber of Secrets. This is shortly after. Many objects are forgotten on their way to Hogwarts. And you already said, like, this is stupid. They would just ship them via owl. But I don't know.
Right.
Their owl's old and dying, so I don't know. And they can't afford real post, I guess. So I don't know. I guess it kind of fits that they'd have to go back because, I don't know.
They could find a way. They are wizards after all. Like, let's get a little creative here.
Say the same thing about going to Egypt for less than 700 galleons, but whatever.
Do you think like stealing someone's house and piercing them is like frowned upon?
I mean, Slughorn doesn't go quite that far, but Slughorn does that.
Yeah.
Anyways, Ginny forgets her diary, and then one twin forgets their filibuster fireworks, and another twin forgets their broomstick. Can you tell me which twin forgets their filibuster fireworks and which twin forgets their broomstick? I think this is impossibly hard.
Well, it's still 50-50.
True.
I'm going to go with Fred forgot the broomstick, George forgot the fireworks. That sounds right.
That is correct. I'm not.
Yourself. I wasn't like 100% sure on that or anything, but like that sounded.
Did you think there was any chance that one twin forgot both? I'm sure you did.
I thought about that, but I was like, it's kind of like the rule of like the writing this book. Like
she does a good job. She does a good job of
like. There's not a main twin.
No, there's not.
Unless you count Fred because he's dead.
This isn't
the prestige. Honor of dying.
Yeah, that's true. Would you have gotten who shows Harry to use flue powder? It's impossible to ask you now, but
I think I would have.
He'll be all right, said Blank. Harry, watch us first. He took a pinch of glittering powder out of the flower pot, stepped up to the fire, and threw the powder into the flames. With a roar, he turned and The fire turned emerald green and rose higher than Blank, who stepped right into it, shouted Diagon Alley, and vanished. I blew it. It's so embarrassing.
Diagon Alley.
Harry's such an idiot. Movie Harry, that is. Diagonally. What? He coughed.
I had never thought of that in my whole life. Diagonally and nocturnally. Never once crossed my mind until my 9-year-old mentioned it.
I mean, I got the diagonally because of the movie, but nocturnally, no, I never got that.
Never once crossed my mind.
Well, your 9-year-old is a genius, so.
He is. Also, it's kind of funny how, like, they're just, like, funny-sounding names, but they're not, like, important at all. You know what I mean? Like, it's not... Like, as Nocturne Alley's dark, but, like, it's not that dark. Like, it's still daytime if you're there, you know? Like, you know, I don't know.
Okay, well, I'll come back next week with some more Fred or George. We'll see if we can get, let's try to remember it this time. Let's see if we can get any broomstick that's not one of the 3 OGs. And
we'll do opposite day. Next week, I'll ask you a Fred and George.
Nope, that's not how it works, so I don't want it. No. And
I'll just ask it and you'll be like, Fred. And I'll be like, either right or wrong.
Full confidence.
You won't even think. You'll just be like, it's Fred.
I'll have no
50 shot.
There'll be nothing in my brain to search to be like, let me think about it. There'll be nothing. There'll be nothing for me to search.
Deal. Fair.
And next week we'll come back with 1998 versus Book 7, Harry Potter, MJ, and we'll have our final.
That is the battle of the freaking century.
It is. It's unbelievable, which will only be surpassed when we do the entire 7 books / 8 years versus each other and see who the real winner is. And then we'll figure out what our last object is, and we'll be ready next week.
Heck yeah.
All right. Any parting words, William?
Nitwit, blubber, oddment, tweak.
Deuces. Love you, Half-Bloods.